I recently coached a client of mine. She's a high performer and she's working in Europe. She sent me an email about a week before our coaching session to say that she wanted our coaching session to focus on creating a high performing team because she was in the process of appointing a number of new members to her team. But when she arrived to our coaching session, she was clearly quite upset and quite angry with something that had happened with the chairman. So when we unpacked that, she explained to me that the chairman had sent her an email saying and asking her to change some of the documents that were itemized on the board meeting. He wanted her to change the documents in terms of the way they were presented and in terms of the content. Now, she'd spent over 10 hours preparing those documents and she'd worked at weekends and she thought they were great. Now, obviously, she understood that she couldn't change the past but could change the future, and she wanted to make absolutely sure that this would never happen again. So we discussed a number of ideas and she came up with 3 ideas. So the first idea was to have a courageous conversation with the chairman to explain the emotion that his email had triggered in her. She felt that the email was unreasonable and was unfair, and she wanted him to know about that. She felt that they could only build a trusted relationship if she was being open about her own emotions. The second idea that she came up with was to schedule regular meeting with the new chairman so that they would take the time to discuss items that were on the agenda and that they could make sure that there would be no misunderstanding and they would be totally aligned with those documents. And the third idea was to agree on the way that the document would be presented in terms of the presentation itself, but also in terms of the content, so looking at the clarity, the precision, the forensic aspect of the documents. So by having this conversation, she was able to align each other's needs to some extent because they were able to bring to the table their own needs, and they had different needs clearly. She was empowered to be a high performer because she understood totally how the chairman wanted to work, and that discussion elevated the way that she was working to some extent, and she became very productive, and so did he actually, because by having those regular meetings, they would grow their relationship to the point where they would spend less time working on the presentation of the documents because it became very easy to prepare those documents. So again, in terms of trusted relationship, again in terms of increased productivity and motivation as well. Thank you.